Well, if you couldn't get the rights to Charlie's Angels, you may as well make a knockoff and hope nobody can tell the difference. Released in 2003 for Sony PlayStation from XS Games, Mobile Light Force is an action game of sorts where you assume control of one of three Charlie's Angels-esque knockoff people, each with their own skills, abilities, and charming personalities, and some slick beat-em-up action where you beat up bad guys, and some slick shooting action, and it's Gunbird. From 1994. It's Gunbird. I mean, look, you have the original title in the background, plain as day for fuck's sake. Why not just call it... okay, fine, whatever. Do we even pretend at this point? Can we just stick with the original title and not this Mobile Light Force? It's the cover. It's why? We can't sell cute little... Okay, whatever, fuck. You know what? We'll stick with Gunbird, because that's what it is. It's fucking Gunbird. End of story. Jesus H, fuck. And you know, I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed I'm not getting the action game starring the three MILFs on the cover as advertised. Couldn't even be bothered to change the sprites or anything to match up with the... It's a shame, really, but whatever. Gunbird's good, too. Let's play some Gunbird, then. Right, so, Gunbird. Released in 1994 as an arcade title, eventually got a Japanese PlayStation port in 1995, eventually released in North America 2003 under that title. One of those Psycho shooter things where you pick one of 5 characters, each with their own array of weapons and bombs and stuff. You play through 7 stages of action, the first 3 playing out in randomized order and the rest going along their merry way. You blow up stuff, and sometimes you can pick up power-ups to boost your attack power, bombs to add to your stock, and coins to add to your score. You bump into enemies, your attack goes down a notch, but you run into a bullet and you die. And this being one of those shooters that likes to throw a whole bunch of bullets your way, yeah, of course I'm playing this on very easy. I'm generally awful at these type of shooters. Anyways, not that it matters, you have unlimited continues anyways, though in the latter stages, continuing means restarting the stage from scratch, so you do lose some progress that's, let's be honest, fairly easy to get back because these stages aren't all that long generally speaking. And hey, Gunbird plays out pretty well on PS1. Sure, there are minor pauses for loading during gameplay whenever you're about to fight a boss or something, usually to change the music track, but other than that, gameplay well, controls fairly responsive, even if I don't care for how the characters control in general, a bit too loose for my taste, but whatever, it works I suppose. Different characters yield different attacks, and finding one that works for you shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm generally split between the witch girl and the MILF robot. Oh, shut the fuck up, that's what it says on the tin, you fucking dork, get off my lawn. The MILF can stay, though. The MILF is good. Now, there is one gripe that I have with this game, and that is the display being zoomed in and cut off. For those who need a refresh, a lot of these old arcade shooters have vertically oriented displays, so you have more vertical real estate on screen. Sometimes when you bring these games over to the home platform, you have to make compromises so that it fits your regular tube-ass TV. Sometimes it's a full screen affair, other times they move the screen to the side and all the scoring information fills whatever black void is left over on the side. It depends on the game, and the results naturally vary. Gunbird on PS1 zooms in on the display so everything seems bigger, but you have limited screen scrolling depending on your character's position. So you move up, the screen scrolls upward, you move down, the screen scrolls slightly downwards, or at least you slow down the auto-scrolling bit as it appears. The problem with this method is that if you're on the bottom of the playfield, there's a whole top part that you're not seeing, and of course if you're on the top, there's a whole bottom part you're not seeing, and regardless of whether it's on screen or not, there's stuff happening on the parts that you're not seeing, which makes it slightly more difficult to anticipate what's coming up because they're already up your ass before you can even blink. I don't know why they did this when they could have just cut off the part of the screen that doesn't fit the display, or maybe just kept the original resolution and just moved everything to the side, but I don't know. Like I said, different methods yield different results, and they were probably still experimenting with how to port these things on PS1, which, again, Japan got this port in 95, I think, so, and we got it in 2003 under, look, you figured this shit out. I'm still trying to get over the misleading cover. Graphically, Gunbird looks great. Resolution issues aside, stuff blows up without a hitch. The scaling and perspective effects for various in-stage elements look pretty good. I like the little menagerie of villains that appear as they flee from one thing to another, even though all the context has been ripped from the game, because even though it's just Gunbird, it's Gunbird without the story bits it originally had, so you're just shooting stuff, which is fine by me, because in a game like this, the only story that really matters is things shoot at you, you shoot them back, and try not to die. That's all the story you need in this type of game. Audibly, it sounds great. You've got some clean sounding sound effects comprising your usual array of bullet fire, laser shots, and the usual complements of somewhat weak sounding explosions. Can't win them all, I suppose. You've got a highly energetic yet totally generic sounding collection of background music to serenade you in the background, and of course the rather smallish collection of voice bites from the various characters. Gunbird had originally more, but this MILF localization removed those, so yeah. Whatever. What's there is still pretty good though. Overall, Gunbird got a worthwhile conversion on PlayStation. I'm not a fan of the screen cropping and scrolling bit, but other than that, you've got a game that holds up rather well, never lets up, and even in this compromised state is one of the better shooters on the PS1. For fans of this style of bullet hell-ish shooter type thing, it's another one to add to the pile. Though Gunbird is available nowadays on the Psycho collection for modern systems, so there's no need to play this MILF version, which I remind you removes whatever story bits this game had originally, which means you could play this incredible shooter with the deceptive box art, overcome the challenge with brute force or hard-headed stubbornness, whichever way works, and you'll eventually get one of the greatest endings in video game history, in human history even. This can never be topped in any way, shape, or form. Behold.